Welcome to this episode of Locked In. In this episode, we're going to be unboxing one of the, I think, coolest new group sets that's out there. You've probably heard about it, but this is the WHEELTOP EDS TX wireless shifting group set. In this video, I'm going to be doing my full unboxing. It is literally still in the packaging from when I just received it. So this is literally me turning the camera on and giving you my first real impressions on this group set, which I'm super excited to put on one of my previous builds. So let's get into the unboxing, but before we do, make sure to hit subscribe and turn notifications on if you haven't already. It really helps support the channel, but let's unbox this group set. So as you can see, this is literally right out of the packaging that I got from the mail. I wanted to do this live. So this is all literally pulling it out, setting the camera up, and getting going. So if you haven't seen my stream, this is kind of where this really started, which was a bunch of alternative group sets, and I did a live stream on it, and I'll put the links in the description below if you haven't seen it. But this group set wasn't mentioned in there because at the time they had released a mountain bike group set, which I'm actually hoping to get my hands on for this channel as well. But this is their first fully wireless group set from overseas. Now, a lot of you have heard of the L2 group set, but that still uses a centralized battery and connects to the rear derailleur or the rear derailleur and the front derailleur. Now, this is fully wireless, and I opted for the hydraulic group set. They do offer this in cable brakes, so if you like mechanical disc brakes or have a rim brake bike, this will be a great option for you. Now, I'm not going to get into too many details. This is going to be pretty surface level information that I know about, and I wanted to create this video so that you guys could ask me in the comments what you want to learn about or what kind of information you want that you haven't gathered online. And I have to give a big shout out to WHEELTOP, because as far as I know, this group set wasn't originally offered in the States, and I believe as of me recording it, it isn't either. The only other US-based creator that has this group set is GC Performance. I did watch his video on it, but anything else that I've read up on this has been from people reviewing this out of the United States. So I'm making this video so you can ask me as many questions as you want about this group set for my eventual full review. Little disclaimer, I just had my gallbladder removed, so I'm going to be off the bike for probably about 4 or 6 weeks. And this is something that I want to get started to start that dialogue with you if you have any questions or things you want to see mentioned or tried before my full review. So let's get back into the unboxing. So I'm really impressed with the packaging for this. Obviously, like I said, I'm getting the hydraulic disc brake group set, but really, really solid packaging. There's a lot of good heft to this. And let's make sure this isn't, oh, this might be upside down. Like I said, we're doing, oh, there we go. Put the logo side out. That usually makes it easier. So we're going to fully unbox this. Like I said, really nice quality so far. Even down to the foam feels nice. The embossed lettering on there. So we have a step-by-step guide here and a QR code to download the app. Now, I did do that already because I was excited when I got this in the mail. And obviously with these group sets overseas, I understand and have heard the reviews about there might be a little bit of a language barrier, but it seems pretty easy from what I've watched to set this thing up. So here's the first shifter. Wow, actually really surprised with the heft of this. This looks like the carbon arm version. Really actually like that first ergonomic, like just hold. I definitely have smaller hands. So this to me almost, and I'll try to flash it on screen, almost kind of has that shape of the new SRAM Red Axis with obviously not as aggressive as a kick. But I like that just initial hand feel and the little relief down here. Now they have a brake stop in there, so it feels like I have some, I'm stopping against my caliper. So I kind of like that. Wow, that's actually pretty nice. Feels pretty slim to the hand. And a little bit of background, if you haven't watched my current setup, I am running rival access shifters on my Yamanda build, and I'll put the link for that breakdown in the description below. But I've been a SRAM boy for a long time, big fan. My drop bar mountain bike, which I just did a video on, has the mechanical SRAM hydraulic levers on there. So I've been a big fan, and this is the first different shaped hood that I've had in quite a long time. Now on their right shifter, they do 2 buttons so you can control up and down on the rear cassette, and those are obviously programmable. The one thing I do like that they implemented on the other lever that I've seen is what I wish Shimano did, because Shimano on their left lever, if you're running a 2x setup, essentially you have one button dedicated to small and big ring, but in my head, I'm like, you're either going to want whatever ring you're not in. If you're in the small, you want the big. If you're in the big, you want the small. So I like that they just did one single paddle with this, because essentially you just want the other one, the other ring that you're not actually in. So again, really nice build quality. Heft on this feels really nice. Again, I like the initial shape. Obviously not having the bar and everything there, obviously is going to make it different, but initially this feels really nice and a lot higher quality than I would have really expected. Now, I did hear that there is supposed to be a reach adjustment on there, but I'll obviously confirm that once I get building. They did mention that the hoods were really stiff, and yeah, totally could see that being a thing. Again, I watched a lot of these pre-videos so I could kind of scope out things that people had mentioned. So a little bit of brake fluid, I felt that just because I think that cap just got loose when I was squeezing it. So apparently there's a little bit of fluid in the lever, but everything looks really nicely made and machined. But yeah, that hood's going to be... Whoa. Well, I guess we just did our first drop test. Everything looks good. Yeah, that hood is very stiff. You can kind of make out some subtle graphics on here. Doesn't really show up great to camera, but it does say WHEELTOP on there. Real nice and subtle. I like the understated look that it's not too flashy. All right, so let's get on to the rear derailleur. So if you don't already know from this group set, the main thing is it is fully wireless like SRAM, but it has a built-in battery. So this back section isn't removable, and they are going to require, they do have a magnetic style charging cable, kind of like another power meter that I've had and reviewed on the channel from SIGEYE. But wow, again, not paid by them. I haven't said this yet, but I'm not paid by WHEELTOP to say anything, but just initial build quality feels really nice. Obviously, let's see if I can please charge to wake up before use. Okay, so here's your charge plug. So just a magnetic style charger. I like that. Obviously, it is a proprietary charger, but I know for just, being waterproof and everything, they're going to have to do that just for, obviously keeping the water out from a standard charger. Now, the only other thing I just did notice, and I don't know if I've seen this from another video or not, but as you can see, the connection wire here, I'm not a huge fan of that because it's outside. I guess it means that it possibly is serviceable because it looks like you can disconnect that connector, and it does kind of move around. That's one thing that may cause concern. I guess so most people for road bikes are not really worried about that. I am going to just give a heads up. I'm going to be trying this with a Wolftooth derailleur hanger extender because I haven't seen that done yet, because this is stated to take up to a 36, so I want to see if it'll take up to the stock 44 tooth cassette on my Imonda right now as like a hot swap, because they did release a gravel derailleur, but I don't know when that's going to be out, but hopefully I'll get one of those units for review. But I wanted to see if someone wanted to basically get this group set and do a kind of all-road or wider range road single-speed setup on their bikes and extend the range a little bit. But I am kind of looking into and shopping for a wide range gravel or all-road style setup to run on this, because most people I've seen have run basically just a standard road gearing. And I want to kind of experiment and see if I can extend the range on that with the bike that it's going to be going on. So here's the front derailleur. Now, I haven't run a front derailleur on any of my bikes in quite a long time, and all my bikes have been 1x for, I don't even know, maybe the last 5 or 6 years at least. Since my all-road steel build, I think is the last time I ran a 2x setup. So I will be getting rings and everything like that. So this obviously feels really heavy because it's a front derailleur, which is usually pretty light, and it has the integrated battery on there, again with the same magnet style connection. Now this looks like it'll bolt on to any standard braze-on adapter, or if you have a clamp-on style, that obviously you can adjust the height of the derailleur there. But again, build quality seems great. I'm going to leave the little guide here for how far this should be away from your derailleur teeth. Same thing on this sticker. Use this trim screw to adjust. Okay, so that's good. It's in an easy place to get to while setting up the bike. And if you don't know about this system already, this can be run between a 3 and a 14 speed setup. So you can basically run this on the existing bike you have. So even if you have a budget $1,000 8-speed Shimano Claris bike, you could upgrade to fully wireless shifting and not need to change literally the cassette or chain rings or crank to make this a more affordable upgrade. So here we have one of the charging cables. You can see the magnet style connection there. Just for fun, we'll slap it on there. Wow, yeah, super easy, quick connection. Pretty strong, but not obviously too strong to where if somebody stepped on the cable, I think he would pull the cable off the bike instead of having the bike hit the ground, which is good. And there's plenty of cord on here. I believe if I read it correctly, it's about 2 meters. So this is plenty of length, and they give you 2 of them. The big thing that I like about this style setup is obviously if you were doing a long trip or camping, you could just bring one cable or bring both, and if one fails on you, you have a backup setup. And you could charge it with a battery bank, just like this, instead of having to bring a proprietary charger, because those are a lot more expensive. They don't, as far as I know, they don't have these just listed by themselves, but I'm assuming they're going to sell the cables by themselves. But that's a lot cheaper than buying a proprietary charger. I believe my SRAM Access battery charger was about $45. So just a cable, and you can use it with any standard USB plug or battery bank on the go. Means that you could trickle charge even if you're doing a long ride and you're worried about battery life. Now, it does say on the box when you opened it up that it does use mineral oil. So it's supposed to be bled and use mineral oil just like a Shimano setup. Now, again, I've always been a SRAM boy, but I'm not great at bleeding brakes in general. But from what I've seen, Shimano looks like a little bit easier of bleeding process. So I'm going to buy just a standard DIY kit. Maybe if you want to see that, comment below if you want me to do a video on somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and seeing if they can figure it out, especially on a not super well-known group set. So here is the disc brake section. Well, it's a foam padding here. Okay, so calipers kind of have that golf ball pattern, kind of like the zip wheels. So plain on one side, have that kind of, dimpled setup on there on the other. Now, the nice thing is, if you didn't know, the brake pads in here are a standard brake pad, so you can get them. They're a Shimano style, and so I believe you can get the finned pads, which are supposed to be better for cooling. Looks like this is going to be, a decent length of hose that it comes with. The block for the caliper itself does look kind of chunky, so not as streamlined or as slimmed down as some of the other brands. It's going to be a little bit more kind of industrial looking. And as far as the other caliper, obviously it's going to be the same. And they're both going to be flat mount style as far as the mounting surface. Obviously, this one's going to be the front one. Then you have a small parts bin here. This is probably going to be your barbs and olives and all your hardware to mount everything. Looks like they give you, oh, that's nice. They give you a bleed nipple or a bleed screw for the everything, couple extra barbs and olives. Okay, so a couple extra pieces. That's great. So that being said, I'm actually really excited about this group set and trying this out. Obviously, because of my surgery, I'm going to try to do as much of the work I can on the bike to get it going. And then obviously when I can ride, I will. But make sure to comment all the questions you have below. I've been watching, like I said, a lot of the other videos. So make sure to put in there what you want to see or what questions you may have. I know I have a few, like I said, with the range extender and things like that I want to do for me. But I obviously want to make sure I answer these to you because I assume that because they sent this group set to me that they're thinking about distributing this to the US. I'll obviously confirm my full review once I talk to WheelTop after this, because they obviously mentioned if I have any questions for the final review to ask them, and they'll provide as much information as they can. So feel free to use me as the outlet for you to answer all the questions, but I'm super excited to try a new group set. I think this is super cool, and this is honestly one of the best things I love about having this channel is getting to show off stuff like this that allows this to be a more affordable way to get into this new technology. Currently, as I'm filming this video, the converted price for USD for the hydraulic group set is $804, and it is $706 for the cable actuated group set. So keep in mind, if you get a nice set of hydraulic cable actuated calipers, those are usually about $150 to $200. I really like the Win R1s, and those were like $168 shipped. So realistically, if you have a disc brake bike, this is the way to go, I think, because it's better braking for less money, even if you have to pay a little bit extra in service to have it bled. I think you're going to be kind of even as far as price out of pocket, unless you already have a setup on your bike. Let me know in the comments below whatever questions you have. I hope you like this video. Please make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on if you haven't already. And thanks for watching this episode of Locked In.
Let's get locked in today, like the